Hello, welcome to Aviation 101 with Laura. Now, over the past few years, I've had a variety of videos talking about counseling and pilots seeking counseling and is this okay and in what circumstances. And then I also hear a lot from my viewers all about like questions that you guys may have. So this definitely came across my info screen when I saw that the FAA has added some more mental health counseling guidance to their guide for aviation medical examiners. This is from AvWeb just like 2 weeks ago. I was in the middle of teaching aircraft dispatch class, so I kind of missed it, but I'm coming at you with my update anyway. They are explaining that the guide for aviation medical examiners here, which I'm going to link to this in the video description, has been updated with some more information, and you can see they made it bold. Yay, thank you, FAA. Therapy, psychotherapy, and counseling. So I checked into this and found that they have made a PDF. It's extremely basic little PDF that you can see it updated just in the end of May 2026. And it says that the FAA, of course, is encouraging pilots to maintain their mental health, also air traffic control specialists, to see your therapist, counselor, physician, provider, get healthy. If you have questions, they have linked a FAQ for pilots and air traffic control specialists. And they also have created this little handout, so I'll look at that now, that you can bring to your provider, which I think is really helpful. They actually took the time to write this little guide that you can print out and bring to your counseling appointment. And, full disclosure, I am seeing a counselor and I have been for the past year, and I find it extremely helpful. And I'm very glad that I am able to do that. So they even have little sample treatment summaries that your counselor can include, a statement that can be added to your records for ongoing monitoring, and then a little disclaimer saying if you don't want to do this, that you should not accept a client who has to adhere to FAA criteria, code words of have a medical certificate. Okay, so this is just like a one-page only thing. That's it. The FAQ is really helpful. It says really clear at the top, can pilots and air traffic control specialists seek therapy? Yes. Okay. And there's a list. It talks about pilot peer support programs. I had an excellent interview with an alumni friend of mine from LeTourneau University. He flies for a major airline, and I will link to that video, but that is what he's in, pilot peer support programs. Okay. It even says you can ask your aviation medical examiner, your primary care provider, to recommend somebody, and then bring a copy of this little handout. The FAA says that the words therapy, psychotherapy, and counseling are all the same things. It says you don't have to report anything to the FAA immediately until your next application for a medical. Air traffic controllers, you have to go by your job order. It says even that you don't have to ground yourself immediately. You can read this and basically evaluate yourself like anything else. If I'm sick and my ears are all plugged and horrible, I can't even clear my ears, I should not be flying. Same thing here. They're telling you ground yourself. Now here's some examples of immediate self-grounding, like you're having suicidal thoughts, panic attacks. Those are bad things, and that is a self-grounding thing. The FAA says, yes, that's a sign of you knowing your own condition. Can pilots and air traffic control specialists continue therapy while maintaining your medical? It says yes. That's great. It's compatible with unrestricted medical and special issuance special considerations. Awesome. Thank you, FAA. Also, they have clarified speaking with your therapist doesn't automatically make a diagnosis. You're going to make an assessment of you, but doesn't really mean a diagnosis. And again, if you're talking to your therapist beforehand and explaining this is important for you to maintain a medical, then you can disclose that up front to the therapist, to the counselor. That will definitely help. Now, it says there's a whole, I'm not even going to go into this, but this is a whole nother link that you can go to about antidepressant medication. You can read all about it on the FAA's website, but it is linked in here. So some pilots and air traffic control specialists can use medication with therapy. The FAA says that, but it is going to have additional requirements. That makes sense, but if you need it, good. What must be reported? Now, again, I've had some other videos where I've tried to explain the FAA has said, you don't have to report counseling. And it does say educational counseling and religious counseling, unless the clergy member is a licensed counselor, need not be reported. Couples counseling need not be reported unless the aviator has been referred in individual therapy. Okay, so like if you're marriage counseling, couples counseling doesn't have to be reported on the FAA Med Express form. It does say that if you're seeing your counselor, that you are supposed to report that on the Med Express application if they're a licensed healthcare provider. So, okay, if you're seeing a licensed therapist, then that would need to be reported, but there are these other little exceptions, so please pay attention to that. The FAA is very unlikely to be able to look at or even want to see all your therapy records, but they do say that, if you are being intelligent, self-disclosing, getting help with things that are difficult for you, then they actually look good at that. They think that's a good thing. It does say all applicants with any of the following conditions must be denied or deferred. Okay, deferred means the FAA aviation medical examiner cannot grant your medical right then, but they can defer it. And here is a whole list of things that must be denied or deferred. So you can see, like, if you have had a suicide attempt, you have been these other conditions that is going to likely require either you can't get a medical or you have to do some additional work. But again, it's not insurmountable. And there are services out there that can help you walk through this. If you've never gotten a medical appointment at all in the past, I encourage you, if you have a history that you think bears looking into, check out some of my other videos with some recommendations on resources that you can use to get ahead of this before you just go to your medical appointment. But I hope this was helpful. I am not a licensed medical professional, so I can't answer like specific questions. I can point you to things on the FAA website, but please enjoy checking out all the links and give me your feedback, questions, comments, share this with a friend who might benefit from the content, and have a great day from Aviation 101 with Laura.